It is your boy T with another Have You Seen That with T movie review, and today we are reviewing Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo is a movie. When I first originally heard that they were making a movie, I kept thinking to myself, why and how are they going to make this exciting? I saw Need for Speed, and I thought Need for Speed actually wasn't that bad, but at the same time, like, how do you turn Gran Turismo into a story? What I didn't know was Gran Turismo actually created probably one of the greatest, rags to riches stories ever. They had a contest, and this young gentleman from the UK won it, from Great Britain. He won it, John Martinborough. He won the competition, and he became an actual racer on the race car F1. It wasn't F1. I'm not even exactly sure what circuit he was driving on, but it was a professional racing circuit. And that story in itself is definitely worth a movie. The movie was a pretty much a prolonged 2 hour long Gran Turismo trailer. It made me want to go home and drive, or play Gran Turismo, even though that's never been my thing. But where the movie really does work is all of the characters. This is a fantastic movie. This movie, in all honesty, jumped into my top 10 of 2023 almost instantaneously. As I was watching the movie, my anticipation grew because I didn't know the story. It was really good that I walked into the movie not knowing the story of this, kid who won this contest and became a professional race car driver. It upped the ante. I really had no idea what I was getting myself into. At the end, I kind of thought it was going to be $1 million baby type thing where, he was going to lose and something tragic was going to happen. And I won't spoil it, but that doesn't happen. Right. So where the movie really excels is its heart. I think one of the biggest arcs in this movie was the father-son dynamic. Diamond Hansu played his father, who was a footballer. He wanted his sons to take after him. He was an athlete, and his son just played video games all day. He played Gran Turismo all day in his home. That was his hobby, right? And his father, who worked on the rail yard after his football career, I guess, was over, he had a lot of trophies, medals in his home. And that was, I don't know at what level he was playing, probably at just like a, I guess semi-pro level in his hometown. But his son just had dreams of being a race car driver. And where I thought the dynamic really worked was, as a father myself, you never want to stifle your kids' dreams, but at the same time, when realistically the life that you're living, you don't really get to see what's outside of that. When you're in the lower class, like when you're in the lower class, you don't really think of yourself ever getting out of that, and you want more for your kids, but at the same time, you don't know how to give it to them. He didn't know how to get his son into being a race car driver. And I feel like all of that came by, him being really good and dumb luck, right? And a lot of the luck, and maybe it was all movie magic, what made him lucky to, actually qualify, because he ran up and jumped in the seat. I don't know if that's actually true, but it did make for an exciting scene where he's riding his bike across town to get to the competition to actually make it to the GT Academy. But I mean, the movie just excelled. I thought that was really the strongest part for me, being a father, and wanting my kids to be excellent in whatever they choose, but at the same time, being able to ground that all in realism, in education and things like that. It's really hard to know, what wonderful things are ahead of them. And his father really was looking at things very realistically. And I really enjoyed the performance by Demon Hanzu, and the kid, and John, when they were having their interactions. There's a crash scene midway through the movie, and there's like this really, really deep father and son dynamic at play, and the mom plays the peacemaker, and it really hit home for me, being a young father myself. Young as in my kids are young, but I'm pretty old. But I just enjoyed that portion of the movie. The family dynamic of the movie really played a big part in it. And just all of the characters. I thought, the girlfriend, Audrey, she was, every time she was on on the movie screen, I felt this great energy and this great chemistry between the two young actors and actresses. And David Harbour was just amazing. Like I really like midway through the movie, I just kept thinking like David Harbour deserves an Oscar nomination for just what he brought to this role, what he brought to the screen. I thought Orlando Bloom played his role to perfection because I can see the desperation in his character's eyes. He needed this to work. This had to work for him, and nothing bad could happen. And all of the good things, all of the breaks that they could get, they just kept getting them. It's a really feel good movie. I saw one of the commercials that said this is the Rocky of racing movies, and it's true. This is an underdog kid who came out of nowhere, and he placed in Le Mans. Like, I mean, once again, I'm sorry for spoiling it, but you can read his story on Wikipedia or YouTube or whatever the case may be. Just a great story, and it's such a positive story, such a story about not giving up on your dreams. Keep chasing, keep chasing your dream. And sometimes, might be out of reach, and sometimes you just need to get a great break. And he got a great break. He just kept practicing, he kept playing, and great things came to him. And I can't speak of how highly I thought of this movie. It was beautifully shot. Like, this is a movie, I always say, is this worth you going to the movie theaters for? Yes, this is a beautiful movie. Neil Blomkamp, who directed District 9, knows how to make a pretty movie. And this is a beautiful movie. The sounds, the audio, the graphics, the VFX, everything just works perfectly in this movie. This is definitely a IMAX worthy movie. This is a movie you should go see on the big screen to hear all of the roar of those engines. And it is just a beautiful thing to watch. It is almost like watching a video game halfway through it. I think that was on purpose. But it just was, I thought it was a beautifully made movie. I thought it was excellently executed. And I just had a great time watching this movie. It was a feel-good story. It was a feel-good movie, like most sports movies are. It was a bit formulaic, right? You almost could tell, but because it was based on a true story and I didn't know the story, I knew that the guy was still alive, but I didn't know if he was still racing. So, we got to learn a lot about John Martinborough. And I'm pretty sure I'm butchering this kid's name. But just kudos to him. Kudos to everybody who made this movie. It is just wonderful. It's been out, they've been doing sneak peeks for the last few weeks. It's, currently sitting at 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. And for good reason. It is a really fun, really exciting movie, and I think you'll enjoy it. You should definitely go check it out this weekend. Date movie, family movie, definitely a father and son movie. Take your kids to go see. Older kids, teen kids. It's not, I think it's PG. It might be PG-13. It might be some foul language in there. But I definitely think it is worth everyone's time if you get a chance to go check out Gran Turismo, based on a true story, this weekend. You'll definitely enjoy it. And if you enjoyed this review, or if you disagree with this review, go ahead and drop your comment down below. Like and subscribe to the page. Still trying to get to 50 subscribers, where I think I'm about 2 away at this point. I think I'm at 48. Hopefully, tell a friend to tell a friend. Come check the video out. Subscribe to the page. Keep supporting Have You Seen That with T? And we're just going to keep putting out these movie reviews. Catch you next time.